Welcome back to Susan Dawn's Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Soul Path reading. It's raining, storming outside, and I feel like this weather is really appropriate for this energy. As I'm recording this, it's the full moon in Capricorn. It's a super full moon, which means that the energy is just heightened, might have a little bit of intensity, and the summer storm feels really appropriate for this energy. Not for the chaos or the destruction, but think about a storm. Think about the cycles of life. Think about what comes after and how storms can sweep into our lives in the form of a person, a situation, an energy, in order to completely change us. And change is what we are meant for. Change is what we are meant for does not mean that it's easy. Sometimes it doesn't even mean that it's welcomed to our ego minds. But change is what our soul yearns for, because our souls are always trying to grow and always trying to evolve. So this weather feels so appropriate with this full moon energy. It feels like it is purifying something. A lot of the chaos and the havoc and even the heartbreak and pain we might be feeling, it feels like it's digging in deep, digging into the core to allow ourselves to feel anything that needs to be felt in order to be released so that we don't attach to those stories anymore. Think about a person or a situation or an experience that felt like a whirlwind, that felt like a summer storm, just kind of sweeping through. What did it teach you? What did it show you? And especially during those summer storms, remember what always comes after: the rainbow, the sunshine, the water sparkling on the pavement. Think about that for a moment. And begin to really look at your life in gratitude for the blessings, for the experiences, for the lessons, for the growth. Because life is always about lessons and growth. And this journey is all about lessons and growth. When I think about these storms, it's so hard when you're going through it. And so take your time and have compassion and patience for yourself as you're going through it. There's no need to rush anything. But when you allow yourself to separate from it, when you allow yourself to look as the observer, when there's ample amount of time, when you've gone through enough healing, you're able to shift your perspective on those experiences and see the blessings within them, to see the growth and the learning and the opportunity within them. You can look at life as if it is a constant storm. Or you can allow yourself to say, okay, there might be a wild storm around me, but I'm the calm within the center. I am the calm. I can't control everything around me. I can't control the storm, but I can control myself, and I can be that balanced peace, the calm within the center of the storm. That's what you learn along the ascension journey. Storms are going to come in and out of our lives in the shape of people, circumstances, situations, experiences. It's going to feel like chaos. It's going to feel like upset, tower moments, upheaval. What happens if you just ride out that storm? If you find your calm within the center, if you turn to the energy of love, if you know that there's always sunshine and always rainbows on the other side, so that you're not stuck in the storm, but that you look towards the future, you look towards what's being created for you. Sometimes storms come to clear a path. Sometimes storms come in to wake us up to parts of ourselves that we had forgotten. Sometimes storms come in to shift us onto a new timeline, into a new life that we might not have expected for ourselves, maybe that we didn't even want. We certainly didn't anticipate. That's where we have to allow ourselves to surrender the resistance, allow ourselves to just see what happens, find our calm, find our center. But sometimes magic can happen when we just allow the storm to be and see what happens then. It's interesting, this energy. It feels very, very powerful, very intense, very emotionally connected right now. but that's not what this reading is about. This reading came to me with a music download, and I shared a little bit about it in a preview of a collected message here on the channel recently, even today, if you guys are watching this in real time. So after I recorded, I did a Patreon reading outside because I just cannot be in the house right now. I'm spending so much time outside, whether at the lake or the river or just going on hikes in the woods, just so much time outside, even just outside in the backyard. And I ended up sleeping on the deck, taking a nap on the deck this afternoon, and my God, it was the most relaxing experience I've had in a long time. It felt so nice to feel the wind and the heat on my skin. And I looked up, and there was a canopy of branches from the trees overtop me. And I just allowed myself to do some meditation and sink into sleep. And it was so lovely and so relaxing. This is the connection to earth energy that we're needing right now. And I'm not going to repeat the message from this morning. I'll link it in the description box. As I was recording the Patreon, there was a powerful message with regards to Mother Gaia and Earth energy that came out. We'll see if it comes out again. But what was interesting was a couple of nights ago, I think this was sometime last week, I'm getting ready for bed, and I'm getting ready to close my eyes, and all of a sudden I get a music download. And it's a crazy one. It's a wild one. I forget what it's called. I think it's Shiny Happy People from REM. You know, shiny happy people holding hands. Do 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 do. It's such a good song. It is such a good song. It's such a weird song too, isn't it? But I'm like, what the heck is this? Because it was so out of left field, as music downloads usually are. But this was like a weird one. And all of a sudden I felt that new earth energy. I felt that connection to the earth. That shiny happy people was the light coming to the earth. Shiny happy people holding hands. It's this connection to the earth that we are really feeling right now at this time. Now, if you look at the outside world, and when I mean outside world, I mean like our physical world. If you look at what's going on in the planet at this time, if you look at the news, you know, there seems to be so much chaos and so much destruction and so much division and so much fear. But that's all the illusion, right? Yes, it's happening physically. And yes, we have to pay attention to what happens in our physical world. We have to be in acceptance of what's happening here and now. You don't bypass anything. You accept your present reality. But it doesn't have to be your present reality into the future. You can shift that. We can shift the future. We can shift the energy by not holding on to all of that chaos and all that division and all of that fear. We have to accept, okay, this is what's happening. But you don't hold on to that, especially you don't hold on to that fear. And that's what this feels like. A number of years ago, we channeled the rainbow grid and how the rainbow grid was anchoring in. I think we called it the rainbow matrix because we were exiting out of the old fear matrix and entering into a new one. And matrix is just a word for the collective consciousness. It's just a word for the world in which we live. But we're exiting that system, that old paradigm, that old template, and we're moving into one of collective consciousness, one of unity consciousness. And that was the rainbow matrix. And that reading or that channeling that we did was all about how new earth is here. And I have a message on my bulletin board here that I wrote many, many years ago. It says, you are new earth energy. The reason why it's here is because of you. You who have been doing your healing work, doing your shadow work, doing your clearing work. When I mean all that shadow work, clearing work, I mean that you are shifting the patterns. You are healing your traumas. You're becoming aware that there is so much more beneath the surface than the 3D represents. That the 3D environment, the 3D world is just one layer. Look at it like this. We understand that this is a desk, right? We look at it like it's a desk. But underneath the surface, what is the desk made of? Well, you could say it's made of wood or particle board or whatever it is. But what is that made of? It's made of atoms. It's made of energy. And energy that is vibrating at such a state that it becomes physical solid form. But in our kind of neglectful state, I guess you could call it, our unconscious or unaware state, we just look at it and we're like, it's almost like we forget. We forget what it's made of, and we just think, oh, it's just a desk. Nothing is just anything. One of my favorite quotes is from Peter S. Beagle, who wrote The Last Unicorn, one of my favorite books. And he says, "We are hardly what we seem and hardly ever what we dream." We are so much more. If you look at a person is so much more than what they represent. They have entire universes inside of them. They have emotion. They have experiences. They have thoughts. They have opinions. They have likes. They have dislikes. And that's just even another layer of the surface layer. Because underneath that, what are they? Underneath that, they are energy. Underneath that, they are soul. And what is that? That is connection to God's source. They are God's source itself. Keep looking beyond. Keep looking beyond. Keep lifting that veil back and shifting your perspective and looking beyond. It's so easy sometimes to get caught up in our emotions and our experiences and our circumstances. It's so easy just to get caught up in the storm. But look beyond the storm. Look beyond the storm. Not just what comes after the storm, although yes, but look beyond the storm. What is happening? It is energy that is coming in to purify or to clear away or to shift the energy. When the atmosphere gets really, really hot, when the air gets really, really hot and really, really muggy, you know a storm is coming. And then the storm comes, and what happens? The air cools down. It shifts the energy. That's what's happening on the planet at this time. Things look like chaos and destruction and fear, but that's kind of like the prelude, right? It's the storm for what's to come. We're shifting into that rainbow energy. We're shifting into that new earth energy. And the chaos and the destruction and the fear that we're feeling is just the storm that's coming in to clear the path. Because it cannot exist anymore the way it was. It cannot. It cannot be the way that it was. Something has to shift, and it has to shift collectively. You can look at all this energy, all this storm energy, this chaos, this destruction, this fear, as kind of like one great collective purge. Because look at what it's bringing in. More and more people are becoming aware. More and more people are understanding, maybe not with the same language, maybe not through the same beliefs or the same path. And that's okay, because it all leads back to the same route. It all leads back up the same mountain. We're all walking different paths up the same mountain. Rumi says we're all walking each other home. And it's true, we're all walking each other home. But those paths might look a little bit different. And that's not up for one or the other to dictate how that's meant to look. You resonate with your truth. You resonate with what feels right to you, what path feels right to you, because that's your path, that's your personal path, and you honor that as part of your own sacredness, just as you honor another person's path as part of their own sacredness. But everybody, this planet is going through a collective ascension, and everybody is waking up in some way or another. Maybe some, they are taking the path of nutrition. Maybe others are taking the path of connecting to church and community in that way. Maybe others are taking the path of spirituality, and others are taking the path of education. Look around with different eyes. They might not have the same words and verbiage as you do, you who have been on this ascension journey consciously. But so many people are going through growth and evolution and personal development. And that personal development is evolution. That personal development, that growth. Maybe it's through relationships. Maybe it's through family dynamics. Maybe it's through their work experiences. But if it means growth, then it's part of their evolution. It's part of their soul's journey. And the whole world is going through that right now, just in many different ways. We're not separated. We're not divided. More than ever, we are united. So don't let the surface layer fool you. It's like when you look at social media, right? You look at social media and you think that you know all that there is about somebody just because they might share openly. But social media is just one drop in the bucket. Just one drop in the bucket. There are so many different layers to a person, so many different layers to a life, so many different layers to an experience. And you're just seeing one. You're just seeing one. We have to learn to look beyond the surface layer and understand that there's so much more. There's so much more that's being experienced right now. There's so much more that's being experienced on this earth. Mother Gaia herself is shifting and changing and evolving. And I'm hearing that she's reclaiming herself. She's reclaiming herself in a way that hasn't been done before. I'm hearing not in this lifetime and not for many lifetimes before. There's a regeneration that's happening here. A regeneration. I'm hearing there's been a carelessness on this planet. And this is not to fault humanity. This was the collective evolution of humanity that was brought to this point. It's not to fault and it's not to blame, but it is to course correct, to collectively course correct. And so many of you are helping this ascension, are helping this course correction, are helping this evolution. Through the evolution within yourselves, you've been planting new seeds throughout your entire life. This is what you were born here for. This is what you came here for. In the space and time, right here, right now. It is no mistake that you are here and now. This is what you're here for. And those seeds have not only been taking root, one seed being buried in the soil, now growing roots down into the earth, deep into the earth. That is who you are as a soul. You are deeply connected to the earth through the roots of your soul, through the roots of yourself. You are one with the earth. And now you yourself are blossoming. You yourself are growing. You yourself are evolving. And so is the earth herself. There's no mistakes. There's no mistakes here. What were we talking about with the storm, that purification energy? We have purification. It's a fire element. It says bare essentials, the naked truth, and wholeness. This is the energy of change. And what were we just saying? Regeneration, rebirth, positive outcomes. And I'm going to take this one as well. These are the cards that we're going to channel with today. Yin Yang, creating harmony through balance. Especially if you're a sacred partner, if you are part of a sacred connection, soul connections, not just with your sacred partner, but all soul family and all sacred connections coming together for this evolution. Especially those within the sacred partnerships, you're just experiencing it because of the polarities that you are uniting, the masculine and feminine polarities that had been too much disorganized, too much disconnected on this earth. Masculine and feminine principles, masculine and feminine energies exist on this earth naturally. It's a natural course of energy. Mother, Father, God source, Mother Earth herself experiences this. I shared last year a beautiful analogy of going to the waterfalls, and we were seeing how the masculine and feminine energies are experienced within the waterfalls itself, within earth itself. How the masculine energy is that beautiful container, that structure, that presence, that rock solid stable energy of the embankment. And the feminine energy is the water that flows. But what happens if there isn't that structure, if there isn't that stability? Well, then the water floods. But instead, that beautiful masculine energy, that structure, that stability, that presence creates a beautiful container, not to trap the feminine, but to allow her to direct her energy into beautiful divine flow so that she can express herself fully and flow fully in her wild energy. Two parts make the whole. The masculine and feminine polarities create that oneness, create that union, create that balance. And you especially see that with a counterpart. But you can also see that in every other relationship, every other connection. And not just connections with people, but connections with the world around you. The paradigm is shifting to bring us into that union, to bring us into that oneness. Because for so long, everything in the energy of this planet has been out of balance. And so what's happening is what we might see as so much chaos and destruction and fear and division is actually bringing it all up to be purged so that we can become aware of what we weren't aware of previously. So we can become aware of what needs to change. With Bare Essentials and Naked Truth, it's about stripping away all the old patterns, paradigms, templates, mindsets, beliefs, traumas that aren't serving the core essence of who we are, the core essence of love. And that is who you are. Yes, you are still human in this physical world. You are still taking a physical form. You're still here to experience life, so enjoy life. You have your passions, you have your likes, you have your dislikes. Love your life. Create a life that you love. Love the people that you love, and don't be afraid of loving those that you love. Don't hold yourself back. Express what it is that you love. You don't have to be anything other than what you are and who you are. Express yourself as you wish to in this world, but also know that the core essence of you, when you strip away all of that, you are still just soul. You can be Susan or whatever your name is, as the form that you're taking in this physical world to experience this life, but understand that there's more beneath the surface, that you are soul beneath the surface. You're not meant to bypass your entire identity. You're not meant to bypass life experience. You're meant to bring that template of I am soul down to the physical form, to recognize I am soul here in this physical embodiment, while still enjoying this beautiful world and life and all that it has to offer. To have beautiful experiences that help you remember that you are soul, that help you remember that you are love. The relationships that you have to support and encourage you and lift you up into higher templates of love. The experiences that you have, whether it's your work that you love, or your mission, or your career, or travel, or just everyday experiences, things that light you up, that help you remember that core essence of love, that help you remember your connection to yourself. And as you remember your connection to yourself, you remember your connection to all. It is not one or the other. It's not black and white. We are transcending that duality concept. Duality exists in this physical world. But the more that you remember that there is more beyond the physical, the more you're able to transcend that duality and walk that middle path. This is your rebirth. This is the planet's rebirth. And she is asking you to remember yourself and remember her, to connect to yourself and to connect with her. This is what we mean by grounding, and this was coming through, I think, in the Ascension Relationship Energy Update, especially for the Divine Masculine. Grounding is not just about grounding your energy as far as going for walks and touching trees and planting your feet in the soil. Grounding is about embodiment. Grounding is about walking the earth, not being above the earth, but walking the earth in physical form, remembering that you are human. You're experiencing this life as a human. And embrace this humanness. Embrace your humanity. But also remember that you are more than your humanity. You are soul. You are always connected to God. They're showing me the heavens. They're showing me earth. They're showing me that oneness. That is the great yin-yang of the cosmos. It is the masculine energy and the feminine presence as one. What's really interesting is we tend to think of the feminine energy as connected to the higher realms, and she is. She is kind of like the higher chakras, right? She is expression, she is intuition, she is connected to God's source. And the masculine energy is the lower three chakras. We've been channeling this for 6 years now. The lower three chakras, connected to the earth, rooted in the earth. The sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, that power, that presence, that will. Then you meet on the bridge of the heart. That's where that oneness is. The feminine brings that energy templates down. The masculine brings that presence up. So you meet on the bridge of the heart. The masculine is physical form. The feminine is energy. But guess what? You are both. You are both. And what they're showing me is, it's interesting that we're connecting with the feminine energy as the higher chakras, because they're showing me God's source as almost like the cosmos, and Mother Gaia, feminine energy, as the earth. And that's that yin and yang. It's, you know how in a yin, oh, I have it here. You know how in a yin yang you have the white with a little bit of black, and then you have the black with a little bit of white? It's that energy. It's oneness. It's all. God is in the earth template, and or Father God is in the earth template, and Mother Gaia is in the universal template, the cosmos, because it's one and the same. It's one and the same. It is all. It is wholeness. There's no division. It creates the whole. It cannot work apart from each other. It will not work apart from each other. That is union. That is unity consciousness. It works together. Not one being higher or lower, not one being superior or inferior, not one being better or worse, not one being darker or lighter. One as whole, as all, united. That's why we always say and remind you that you have both masculine and feminine energy within you. And you might connect more deeply to a core essence of masculine or feminine. But it's one. It is one. This whole planet is going through this regeneration, this rebirth. This whole planet is being stripped of their beliefs, of their old perspectives, mindsets. They're going through a collective conscious evolution, and you are a vital part of that through your own individual evolution, through your soul growth journey, through your healing yourself, the templates, the patterns, shifting the paradigms within yourself, within your very life. You're having a ripple effect and a huge impact on shifting the consciousness of this earth. We came here, all of us, have this deep yearning to make a change. We have this deep desire to change the world for the better. And sometimes it brings us to our knees and we feel defeated and we feel, is it worth it? And we feel, am I doing enough? And we feel just so like we're in so much pain because the earth is in pain. And we're brought to our knees and we cry because we feel so much love for this planet that we're on and everybody that's part of it. As much as sometimes, I always say sometimes, I love humanity and hate the people, or I love people and I hate humanity. But the truth is, I love this world. I love this world, and I will always believe in this world, and I will always believe in the people in this world. We are meant to be here at this space and time, and sometimes it feels like we're not doing enough. But you are. You are. You're not meant to change this world on your own. The universe doesn't expect that of you. God doesn't expect that of you. You change within yourself. You evolve within yourself. You grow within yourself. That is how you change the world, by you remembering that you are love, by you remembering the love in others. There are challenges and obstacles and difficulties in life through the experiences that we have as humans. We feel fear and we feel heartache and we feel pain. We are not meant to deny any of that, but we are meant to move through that in order to return to forgiveness, to return to love, to return to understanding and compassion and kindness. This is the course correction that we're doing within our individual lives, and that's going to have a profound impact on the world because we're leading by example through embodying that kindness and that compassion, that empathy and that love. We're leading by example. We're showing the world what it is to live and be that new earth energy. New earth is a shift in consciousness. A dimensional shift is a shift in consciousness. It's a shift in perspective. It's an expansion within yourself. And the more you remember your core essence of love, that is who you are naturally as soul, the more you see that within yourself, remember that within yourself, and see that within others, every living consciousness around you, whether that be people or animals or plants, the more that you see and feel that, the more you interact with that through your embodiment of that love, by being your best and highest self, the more you're helping to shift the entire planet. It might look like a storm, but that rainbow is here. That rainbow is already here. Look for the rainbows in your life. What do you have to be grateful for? Even if you're moving through pain, even if you're moving through heartache, even if you're moving through grief or loss or trauma, grant yourself that grace. Grant yourself that patience for the process. But look to the blessings, look to the lessons, and allow yourself to look to the love. Because that love changes everything. That love changes everything. This is your rebirth, and this is the planet's rebirth. She's supporting you at this time, Mother Gaia. She's supporting all of us. This is a massive time of transformation, and she is here, and it might make you feel extremely vulnerable and extremely raw, extremely ragged. Again, there are times when you're brought to your knees, but when you're brought to your knees, that's when you really see yourself. That's when you really know yourself and connect to yourself. That's when you really get to see and know God, because God is always there. So connect to the earth. Connect to the earth because she's connecting with you. All right, I'm feeling the energy pull back. I think there's going to be much more about this to come. This was almost like a precursor to more energy to come, because I'm feeling more energy to come, more ascension energy and more new earth energy that we're going to be channeling. So make sure that you're staying tuned. I'm sending you so much love and so much light.